I served from 2016, February 2016 until August 2017. And the areas that I served in actually, so the Portugal Porto mission is the top half of Portugal actually. So it goes from all the way Viana do Castelo, the very top of Portugal, to about the middle of Portugal, which is Santarém. And so it's like Lisbon is right here, and then Santarém is right above Lisbon. So it's a pretty big mission. It's about 4 hours to get from north to south in our mission. And I served in 4 areas. I served in Porto, the big city. Then I served in Leiria, which is south a little bit. It's close. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours from Lisbon. And then I served in Gaia, which is just across the river from Porto. And then I served in Madeira, which is also really cool. It's an island in our mission. So you have the continent, and then you have this little island off the coast of Africa. That's like a 2-hour flight from Porto. So I served there for the last 4 months of my mission on the island. And the culture there actually, it's completely Catholic. Every single person that you meet on the street is Catholic. And there are a lot of immigrants actually from Africa, from Brazil, and then just there's some people from England, people from European areas, but the majority of them are from Africa, from Cape Verde, from Mozambique, Angola. A lot of times we would teach a lot of African and Brazilian families. But the Portuguese people, they're super open actually. They're open to hearing about the gospel. They're very religious. And so, yeah, so that's basically our mission, which is the mission boundaries from south to north. So there isn't a temple, but they just, I think 3 years ago, they announced the Lisbon temple. So it's not in our mission, but it's in the Lisbon mission, and it should be complete either next year or the year after that. That's when it's supposedly supposed to be complete. But it's under construction right now, so hopefully soon they'll have a temple there. But in the Porto mission, there are actually a significant amount of wards, and I think there are about 5 stakes in the Portugal Porto mission, and a lot of branches. I only served in one branch in my whole mission. The wards that I served in, the first ward that I served in had about 65 people attending. A lot of inactives. There's about 600 people on the list, but only 65 attending. And then the next ward that I served in, we had when I started there, it was about 75 people. When I left, it was 115 attendance at church. And then the next ward that I served in was probably the strongest ward that I've ever served in. And they had, just from the get-go, 115 active members. And there was a lot of leadership there. And all the other wards that I served in, there was leadership, but in this ward especially, it was full of great leaders. And a lot of the stake members were in our ward. And then the last ward that I served in was a branch, actually. So that was the Madeira, the island that I served in. And it was actually pretty large. It was about 90 people, which it was called the branch because there's no stake there, because there are only true branches on the island. So in order to have a stake, you have to have, I think it's 4 or 5 branches to at least make a stake. And so that's what they're working on now, so that they can leave being a district to being a stake, so that we can now have wards. But there are 2 wards. There used to be 3. There are 2 wards now, or 2 branches, sorry, in the Madeiran Islands. With the other ward that I didn't serve in, it has about 40 people. The branch that I did serve in has about 90. But yeah, there are a lot of other branches that I have heard. I never served in them, but there are a lot of branches that have maybe 6, 7 people attending. And so I had a lot of companions or elders in my district that served there. And a lot of them, I had a couple of friends on my mission serve as branch presidents because there wasn't a lot of leadership in that specific area. And so there was a particular elder that served for 7 months as the branch president in one of the areas in Portugal. So it just depends on the area that you're in of Portugal. It varies between the areas, but most of the wards that I served in were very strong. There are a lot of things that I would do differently and a lot of things that I would keep the same. But I think that the thing that I would do differently is just to not worry about it and just give it to the Lord. Because a lot of times as missionaries we get caught up on, oh, this is a European mission, we're not going to baptize that much. But really, Portugal is flourishing. There are people every single day that are ready to be baptized. And so just not getting caught up in that and just really working hard, being as obedient as you can, and enjoying what Heavenly Father gives you, because there are so many miracles. And one thing that I did do that I loved that helps my mission immensely was really focusing on the good things and never focusing on anything bad that happened, but focusing on the little miracles that happened every single day, every single hour, and thanking Heavenly Father every single time that we saw a miracle, and that's when miracles would start pouring in. One thing that I do wish that I would have done differently is I think I wish that I would have, with the language, I wish that I would have taken it more seriously in the beginning. And so I think that one advice that I would give is to speak the language as much as possible. I did that most of the time, and it really helped me, but there were some times where I would get lazy or I would want to speak English with an American. And I think just speaking the language as much as possible is really going to help you to be able to teach better lessons, to be able to connect with people. So yeah, those are the things that I would say.